Hello. Hello. Okay, just checking that you're there, that I'm not here all by myself.
I am there.
Okay.
But the video icon is starting.
All right. Can you hear the sound of dripping water?
No? Hey, nice to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
Let me change my name. Um, oh, I can't. Usually I can change my name, but maybe that's not possible because I'm in YouTube. Or no, this is Zoom, eh? No, okay. I wanted to add my tag, but that's not possible. Ah yeah, here. It's changed.
Hmm. Okay, I'm going to start off with a video about a waterfall, and the waterfall is in Wales.
I'm gonna grab a tissue because it's pretty warm here in the sunshine.
Yeah, it's hot here too. Amazing, actually.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. Hello, Tineke. How are you?
Hey Dawn, good morning. I'm good. Enjoying the heat wave here in the Netherlands.
Okay. Well, I can see it looks great in the background there.
Yeah, it's my garden. I made a conscious choice to live near the water, so
Okay, one minute. Let's
you might even hear the birds. I don't know if you hear my background. No.
uh, I think there's some I can't hear the background, no. Guys, there's some echoing, so it's
Mm.
can you hear the echoing?
No, I hear you okay.
Oh, that's good. Maybe it's just from my part. So I'll just talk as normal as if nothing else is going on there. No problem. All right. So your name is Tineke Rensen, and
Yes,
you live in the
I
Netherlands,
do. Yes.
and you are doing water healing. In fact, your website is waterhealing.eu.
True.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, I'm pleased to meet you. I must say to the audience that we met on LinkedIn a few months ago, and I did say to you that water has always been a thing that draws me, actually. It has drawn me um, to live near water, you know, cross from one part of a city to another part of the city to live near water. I visited a few waterfalls that I absolutely loved. And any large expanse of water, like a lake or river, I love to walk along the riverside, uh, cross the river again and again. Um, and it's something that's always been a part of me. So when I discovered there was a science to it, which is basically what you were saying, I thought, oh, let me find out a bit more. So, tell me about yourself, Taneke, before we go into the water bit. Tell me about yourself and what you used to do before you became the
The
water
water woman.
scientist, so to speak.
Oh, what I studied sports. I used to be working in tourism for a long time, so I've been working in many countries. When I was 25, I started my own travel agency, especially in sports, so outdoor and survival sports, where I take people in nature, in the mountains, on rivers, rafting, kayaking, canyoning, mountain biking, survival, all these kind of activities. And that business grew and grew, and we were in multiple countries in Europe, and it was nice. I got married, I got kids, so that's when I did the work in the office. I didn't move abroad anymore to do the activities. I had my team. And when that business was running for 22 years, I was like, I want something else. And I sold it, and then I wanted to become a speaker, and I wanted to be on big stages. That never happened yet. Always be careful what you say. And But I became a business consultant for female entrepreneurs because I noticed I had been scaling a business very organically without any knowledge, without having an entrepreneurial family as an example. So I had to learn the hard way, and I thought, it's easier if someone tells you how to do it. So that's what I started doing, because I also noticed that women were struggling with positioning themselves, being out there, being visible, playing small, hiding, I would say, behind. And don't get this wrong. That's just a point of view. Behind the kids, I mean, kids are the most important treasure in our lives. and I have kids too. Yet for me, they were not always a reason why I couldn't do things. I made both things happen. Um, so that is what I saw. So I worked with women. I helped them scale, and they whenever they were wanting to go from one woman business to multiple business with team or whatever, that's when I flew in. Um, I got my clients through public speaking, so that part did work, but not for the huge stages yet. And then COVID hit. I was expanding. I had a business network in multiple countries, in London as well, for a businesswoman with a business. And with a business, for me, it's you have a team, or you have an office, or you have partners. It's not you, yourself, and you, which is totally fine if that's your choice. But then you have different issues than the woman with a big business, and those women I wanted to bring together. So we had a club in Switzerland, in the Netherlands, in London. COVID hit. I had to close down everything. My source of income dried out because I couldn't speak anymore, and that is how I got my new clients. So eventually, after COVID, everything I did before, it just didn't work anymore. It didn't land, it didn't work. I didn't want to work so hard anymore because COVID really taught me how wonderful it is not to have to go to events 2, 3 times a night, how to cook my own meals instead of eating out at big buffets, all these things. So it really brought me back to a core, I suppose. And so the business didn't fit anymore, but I wasn't ready to acknowledge that. So I struggled, I liquidated everything, and I tried various other businesses. None of them worked. And that was not an easy time for me. I was still the hardcore, hardworking, making it happen businesswoman, instead of, relax and flow, what I do now. And then I came at a retreat, and there's a whole story around it. People who want to know the story, you can go to my website and download a webinar where I explain how I discovered that I can energize water. And that changed everything for me. I put my hands in the water and fish come. And I was like,
Really?
okay, yes, and still, I sit out here in the lake, and there's these tiny little fish swimming up and down all the time. They come to me, they swim between my hands, they suck my legs, they suck my arms, my butt. Yeah. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just this type of fish. So I was swimming yesterday in the lake, and I looked at a woman. She was standing in the water with her dog, cooling off. But the fish were not touching her. They were swimming way around her. So I thought, yeah, it is the energy. So I started taking people with me in the water. Here, look, there's a little whirlpool. Yeah, I think I need to go inside because my laptop is so warm it will crash at some point, and I don't want that. And then it's heating up too much.
Well,
Hold
it's
on.
lovely to see the background, so thank you for showing
Yeah,
us.
exactly. Because yeah, otherwise we lose the connection. This is my tent, so I'm living in a caravan in a tent near the water, but I invite people here to come with me in the water. Um and healing starts. We set an intention. I energize the water. We enter the water together. I focus on them. We empty our minds. We put on some special water music, and then just things start to happen. Often there's a lot of release of things from the past, of emotions. Sometimes there's no name, but you see it happening in the body. You see them releasing. They cry, they laugh, they yawn. There's a lot of things happening. I am
Wow.
also a digital nomad. I love traveling. So in the winter, I cannot live here because the campsite is closed. I have a house, but I decided to rent out my house to have income because that was the thing with COVID. I spent all my savings. So I needed to have an income, and nothing was working still. So I moved out of my house um, to travel and live near water. So in the winter, I'm visiting a warm country. But there, I cannot do the water healing because I cannot bring my pool when I'm backpacking. Last winter I was in Vietnam. So I found out how I can do this online with people, how I can teach people to speak to their water, to connect with the water in their body, how then connect with the water outside. In your case, I think it's Thames River, which is around your corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you go and sit there and you connect with the water inside, you connect with the water outside, things start to happen. And I want to explain, and I have a little video, why it is the case the way it is. And this video I created a year ago. I have a lot more knowledge, so we can go into that afterwards. But is that okay if I play a little
Yeah,
video?
sure.
Yeah. Can I
Absolutely.
share screen? Is it allowed
Yes,
to
you
share?
can.
Yeah. Okay. Um, all right. Share. It's already getting slow because it's warm. Um, From the day you were born, you are destined to create magic in your life because life itself is magical. And this is you when you were created. One egg cell and one sperm cell that won the race, both molecules with water within them. And these two cells merged into one and started accumulating until you became a fetus, safely covered in a water bubble in your mother's womb. And when you were 16 weeks old, you could start to hear. And guess what you heard? You had no words. You had no mind. You could only hear and sense your mother's emotions. And when you were born, this was the language you understood. The language of listening to the water's resonance or vibration. And you started to communicate this language, but nobody could hear you. And you learned you needed a voice and words to communicate. And from that moment, you started disconnecting from the language of resonance. But it's the same for animals. But because they only have sound, the language of resonance is still very vital in nature. The primary language in nature, our planet, and in the universe is the language of resonance, while you became less and less aware of it. But water is everywhere around us, and it is our way back. We are constantly resonating and connecting with the water around us. We just forgot about it. It's in the cells of our very own body. It's in the air you breathe. It is in 99% of everything that lives around us and is created around us. Water is the source of life, and it has served our planet for billions of years. Water is our way to connect with everything and everybody around us. It is where all your answers are. The water in your body resonates with your thoughts and becomes the vibration of your thoughts. But what are your thoughts? It's time to free yourself from your thoughts, which are not serving you. All the conscious and subconscious thoughts, patterns, habits, and identities you have, because you are so much more than your thoughts. Become free. Reclaim your connection with all knowledge so you can manifest and create whatever you desire. Become limitless. Listen to your inner voice. Join my retreat in Bali. Okay, stop. Okay. So that is stop share. Let me, it's not stopping, yeah? Yeah, it is. It takes some time. The laptop is slow because it's warm. So that is our connection to water, Dawn, and that is one of the reasons why everybody always feels drawn to water. Some people are scared because they can't swim, or something happened subconsciously at some point, but most people feel this connection. They hear a fountain and they feel more relaxed. And it's because subconsciously we go back to that time when we were safe, when we were
We were not our mind, we were not our thoughts, we just were. And that is so peaceful. And there's also something else happening, and the video showed it, the video that you played. Um, when water crashes or evaporates, there's ionization. So the H2 molecules, they come into the air. That is speaking and resonating and connecting with our body. Our body needs H2. Um, we actually produce it inside our body because H2 is the only substance that can enter the cell membranes. So if we do not have enough H2, which is water H2O, huh? one atom of oxygen and two hydrogen, if we do not have enough H2 in our body, we dehydrate. Yeah. And the H2 can enter our cell membranes. That's why I drink this water. It adds. You can see it's adding extra H2 to the water, and what that does, it's rejuvenating because most people are dehydrated. We drink not enough water. We drink tap water, which is not healthy water, because I just there's so much I can talk about water. Water has a conscience. Water has a memory. So if you know that water has a memory and that it stays in water forever, everything that is in your tap water, everything that they did to the water, everything that they took out of the water physically, the memory is still in the water. The frequency of that memory is still resonating in the water. Then they add a lot of stuff to the water, chloride, for example, which is devastating for our pineal gland. It creates the oxytocin hormone, so it decreases our happiness feeling.
Really?
It does, yeah. We don't know that. So when we're happy, imagine what can happen if you stop drinking tap water. You become more happy. And there's another
Wow.
thing. The pineal gland is our organ that connects with everything and anything, and that lets the energy in. So it's our communication channel with everything around us. That also gets shut down a little bit when we have chlorine in the water. So I stopped drinking it. Many people use a water filter. I don't have a fixed home, and these things cost like a lot, so I don't have one. But I drink bottled water. That's the second best choice. Or when it rains a lot, I drink rainwater. Or when I'm in the mountain and I know I'm at the source, I collect spring water and drink that. Um, yeah. So, yeah, that's so. That is why many people don't drink enough water. So most 80% of the people have a dehydrated body, which is the root cause of many diseases because the body is not in its optimal form. So the self-restoring capacity of the body doesn't function optimal, so it cannot attack anything that is entering our body. It cannot cure itself anymore. Um,
Mm.
so I had a client here 2 days ago, and his skin was very dehydrated, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor gave him a specific cream, and I said, and he didn't like the cream because it was so greasy. I said, do you drink water? He said, no. I said, well, stop drinking cola, start drinking water, and drink
Mm.
hydrogen water. So let's see what happens. Um,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. So, with your knowledge, you've
Yeah.
created a business out of water.
Yeah, I
But
have. Not my first one, actually.
which is really interesting.
I know.
Um, but I want to know about that time where things changed for you, where it was an about turn, so to speak, where it's almost like you got a knock in the head and all you could think about was water, water, water. When was that time? Where were you? Who was with you? How did it happen?
I was in the waters in Mexico, and this is 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And when I was 22 or 23, I was working there as a tour guide for a Dutch tour operator. And I took my people snorkeling and I took my people diving. I mean, not me, but I took them to those trips, local organizers. And I remember vividly the first time when I was underwater and saw the underwater world, I just didn't want to go back up again. So with snorkeling, you float. With diving, you really are inside it. So I took my PADI certification so that I'm allowed to dive. It was magical. All the colors, all the animals, the fish, the green, the blue, the yellow. It was a completely different world. So I was really looking forward to going there again. And it was one of the activities was to go snorkeling. So I was all ready and I put my snorkel on. I went in the water, and the first thing that happened is I started crying because what
Really?
I saw was not the coral that I had in my memory. It was dead. It was gray. It was white. Very few fish. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I heard about it. I've seen about it, but on social media, but I never witnessed it myself. And it really struck me. And then I had an epiphany moment. I remember facts. I love knowledge, so I remember a lot of things. And I didn't know how much I knew about water. I mean, I had been teaching whitewater kayaking for years. I was in the Dutch national team whitewater kayaking. I competed on World Cup levels and Euro Cup levels. So, I mean, I was very acquainted with the water, and I didn't know so much about the spiritual part. I knew about Masaru Emoto, and many people know about the research and the study he did. But when I was in the water, all of a sudden, I was like, "Hey, Tineke, you did Reiki healing at some point, so you energy pours out of your hand." Water has very little resistance. I know from the kayaking, when you're on a lake and there is a thunderstorm 5 kilometers away and the lightning strikes, the electricity travels for 5 kilometers. You'll be electrocuted 5 kilometers away. That is why you always have to get out of the water. Nobody understands and knows why, but this is the reason why. Because it travels so far, because water has very little resistance. I knew
Mm.
water has a memory, so I thought, hey, it must remember what it looked like 35 years ago. I know nature has a self-restoring capacity, so I know it can restore itself. It just needs time. It can adapt. So I was like, okay, what if I talk to the water? What if I energize it? What will happen? And that's what I was doing. I was closing my eyes, focusing on the water, you would probably call it prayer. I was setting intentions for the water, like, hey, you know what it was like. I have faith in you. You can restore yourself. You just forgot because you're so devastated by the changing temperature of the nature and all these people that you have to accommodate who are here in the water all the time and want to share the beauty that you have. I want to witness it. I said, but you can handle it. So and while I was doing that, I was giving energy. And then I opened my eyes, and the coral didn't change. But what I did say is the area around me changed completely. I was surrounded by so many fish. And like I said, there were hardly any fish when I entered the water. And I was like, what's happening here? And they were actually, I was putting my hands in the water like this. They were touching me, nibbling, 1, 2, 3 on top of each other to be able to touch my hand. And then I was, oh my God, this is not the typical behavior of a wild animal in nature. They feel it, they sense it. And then my mind took over. I got scared. I was like, this is too big. I was overwhelmed. This is not me. I'm 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 just Tineke, you know. How can I do this? So I swam away and I didn't want to know. And then my mind also took over, but in a good way. It was like, yeah, hey, come on. You've paddled all over the world. You've never been scared for anything. You took so many risks because you know you're always safe in nature. There must be a reason. And I am always safe in nature. I travel on my own a lot. And because I've had an outdoor and survival business, I know a lot. I know a lot about the dangers. I also know what is safe and what isn't. And I do to challenge myself, but I know I'm always safe. That's really weird. So then curiosity took over. This was just a coincidence and it's not going to happen again. These fish were just there. And, this is what we do to diminish the beauty that we are, the person that we are, because we can't allow how big we are. We all are, not just me, everybody in our own way. Um, ah,
It's okay, I've got the rest
yeah,
beforehand.
okay,
So.
good. Yeah, of course, it's on YouTube. And so I did it again. And exactly the same, got out of my mind, repeated the whole thing, and I opened my eyes, and there they were. And then I got curious, like, hey, this is interesting. Something is happening here deliberately. So I tried it again. I tried it 4 times, and the same happened every time. And I was overwhelmed, but I was also so connected. I was in tears. I was crying again underwater, but from love, from awe, from being in connection. So I jumped on the boat and I was crying, and people were looking at me and like, what's going on? And I said, this is what happened. And then my coach was on the boat and she said, okay, now what are you going to do with that? And that is, she said, I've always told you it's water. I said, yeah, I know I like water, but I can't see how I work with water. She said, you can energize water. And I said, well, how would that benefit? I don't want to go and heal corals. Actually, no. At the time, at the moment, I decided, okay, I'm apparently an energy healer, so I can heal spots in the world. I want to travel, so why don't I go and travel to all kinds of energy spots in the world that are polluted with energy from everybody coming there all the time, because we all are energy, and whatever energy we are, that is what we radiate. And I posted that on Facebook and I said, you know what? I want to go to Bali. I want to find the ley lines. I want to see how there is some energy healing needed there. Who wants to join me? And people wanted to join me. And I was like, okay, I need to organize a retreat. And that's what I did. And I took a house with a swimming pool. I did my energizing thing in the water, and that's how it happened. I took people to waterfalls. I took them snorkeling, and the same happened again. The fish came because all of us were in a circle, and we gave energy to the water, and they came swimming in our circle.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I started inviting people I bought a swimming pool, and I said, okay, I was still very tight on money because I had spent all my savings. So I said, okay, I'm not going to invest anything anymore. Make the money first. If I have the money within 3 days, I'm going to buy the pool. And of course, out of nothing, because I set an intention, I let go. And you would say God would hear my prayers. For me, it's the same energy. Um, the money came, and I bought my pool. And then, okay, my coach says, so what are you going to do now? And challenging me all the time. I said, well, I think I need to take people in my pool, but I don't know what to do. She said, you'll figure it out. Yeah, and gradually that's how things changed. And I was doing that, and then I traveled to Vietnam last winter because I'm a digital nomad. I don't and I want to spend time near water, but in as many countries as I can, visiting waterfalls, swimming in the ocean. And there I discovered, but hey, you can connect with water. If here we are water, we can connect with here, and that can help us connect with there and connect us with everything. Like I said in the video, the language of resonance. So
Oh.
that's what I'm doing now. I'm teaching people to speak to water, to drink energized water, never tap water anymore, because that's the first phase. Make sure that the water inside your body changes the vibration and the frequency. And that doesn't happen when you drink tap water, because tap water is dead. There's no life force energy. The sunshine cannot enter. It's not swirling and curling, which adds energy. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so how do you energize water? If I were to drink a cup of energized water now, what would I need to do?
Well, make sure that you have a blue container, a glass or a bottle. Pour water in it, preferably not from the tap, but if that's all you have, at least you are going to add life force energy to it. Put it outside in the sunshine. The natural color of water is blue, but we cannot see it. This is such a little amount of water. It seems to have no color. But in the ocean, you always see blue water
I
because
thought that
it's
was a reflection of the sky color, though.
also it's both. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
the blue in the sunshine, in the light curve, reflects with the water. That's how we perceive it as blue. Yet it's also the color of water. So when you add it in a blue container, in a glass, because that's the natural substance, in the sunshine, the life force energy gets put back into it. Hustle the water, swirl, do this with your bottle, shake your bottle. That
One
also
moment,
has more energy.
one moment, please.
Yeah.
One moment.
Thought I grabbed my cold water bottle. So
Okay,
that
so you say we should have,
simple.
you say we should use bottled water and pour it into uh, a blue glass. That's what you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, and put it in the sunshine.
For how long?
An hour.
Suppose there is no sunshine.
Well, you can keep it in the wait until there is sunshine, do it then, and keep that water. Because in nature, there's a law. The highest energy influences the other energy. When you are in a room of people and there's things going on, someone high energy enters the room, things start to shift. Energy starts to change. People start to feel different. That is a natural law. The highest energy wins. So the high energy you have in your blue glass container, which you saved from when the sunshine was there, just pour a little bit in normal water, and it starts affecting the normal water, and it starts to raise the vibration. It's the same as homeopathy. You dilute it, you dilute it, you dilute it, but the memory remains in it, and that's the frequency is the memory. It cures people. It's the same with the blue solar water. On my website, and it's waterhealing.eu, I have a free PDF, and people can go there and download it. And there I explain about more ways to energize your water. You can add crystals to it. You can use a bottle like this that adds extra hydrogen to it. There's more ways to energize your water.
So that bottle that you just showed us, does it blow bubbles into the water?
Yeah, but
Oh,
not oxygen, hydrogen. That
okay.
is something else. So when you have sparkling water, that's different water.
Okay, okay. All
And
right.
like
So
in the
where does
beginning,
one get one of those bottles that puts hydrogen into the water? Where do you get one of those bottles? The ones that you just held up?
you can go online. You can go to my web shop. I have the one I am using. It's in my web shop, but there's
Okay.
many.
Okay. And your web shop, what's the website?
Waterhealing.eu.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, that's one product people can look at getting. Have you written a book or what book around this?
No, I haven't created a book around this because my knowledge is deepening all the time. And at the moment, yeah, I don't feel, I mean, I'm flowing now, so I don't do things anymore because it's strategic or because it's smart. I am like the water, so I flow. And at the moment, I feel no, it's not the time to write a book yet.
Okay,
Um,
fine.
I don't want to. So then I would be forcing myself and I would be going into my masculine again. And I don't want to do that anymore.
I've heard about electrolytes in water. What's your take on that?
That's adding extra salt as far as yeah, that it depends what it's Epsom salt. That is good salt to add to your water. Yeah.
Okay, not for drinking, though. That's for
Yeah.
bathing, isn't it? Hello?
Oh, sorry.
That's better, yeah.
I
It
I,
was
I
such.
was I was using my phone and it's in the sunshine. My phone got over. I was using my phone for the hotspot and my phone got overheated, so it threw me out.
Okay,
I'm now on the Wi-Fi.
okay, okay.
Sorry.
All right, well, hopefully you'll be okay. All right, so you were talking about Epsom salts.
Yeah, you can put that in the bath, and that can enter your skin and it can purify a lot of things in your body. Yeah.
Okay. So everyone should have some Epsom salts in the home.
Yeah.
Although I've got to say, not many people actually have baths now. They prefer the shower.
Yeah. I teach people how to do an activation while they are showering. Um, I also have exercises when you go in your bath and to connect to the time when you were in your mom's womb, to go to that safe place. Um,
Wow.
when you shower, I have a shower activation. That's also on my website where I teach people how to connect with the water, how to connect with the water around. And we've now been talking about the physical aspects of water, but there is a highly spiritual effect of water as well. And because water is all around us, for me, water is a communication channel. The water molecules in my body, they are constantly moving. Every molecule is doing that. So the moving creates a frequency, and the frequency is a signal. So we are constantly signaling information out of the frequency of our water in our body. And like I said in the video, the water in our body carries our thoughts, carries our memories, carries our identities. So it carries everything that we are, that we think, let's put it that way, that everything that we are and everything that we think we are, because we are so much more than we think. Um,
Very true.
yes.
Sometimes it takes somebody external to us to bring out things from
Yeah,
us.
for me, that's usually the case. Now, not anymore, because I now can connect with the water and I get my information through the water. But I always needed to have a coach to see the things I wasn't able to see about myself and to grow. I think that's a natural thing, It's sometimes difficult to see the things because you're so used to them and you think they're normal. And you
Yeah.
only realize that they're not when other people confront you with them or give you feedback about them. And then you get the possibility to either grow or go in resistance. And that's also what many people do. They ignore it. But that's everybody's choice. But
Okay.
around us, there's a net of water. Every water is always communicating and vibrating. So I call that instead of the internet, I call it the worldwide water net. So not the worldwide internet, but the worldwide water net. And you don't need a keyboard to access it. You need to communicate with the water in your body and with the water outside. And I can see it. I can see, if I focus on it, I see all the water moving in front of my face. It's firing, it's wiring information. It's like seeing little flashes of lights constantly in the corner of my eyes, in front of me. If I focus on it, if I don't, and I'm looking at you, I'm not seeing it now. Otherwise, I would go mad. But I send information over that net and I teach that to my clients. But because everybody is in that net, that information travels and everybody sends their information in that net, not deliberately, subconsciously. I do it deliberately. And the information meets and they connect and they
Mm.
create a situation.
Mm. Okay. Do you eat fishes by any chance?
Do I what?
Do you eat fishes?
I do, yeah. I'm not
You
I'm
do.
I'm not a vegetarian.
Because I was thinking, when you were saying that you were calling the fishes and they're all coming to you, I'm sure I don't know the fishermen would love to have this skill. Like,
Yeah.
make their job easier.
Well, there is someone there is a story in the Bible where this happens. Fish start springing on top of on a boat
Who
when
was that?
huh?
Who was that?
I don't remember, but hey, like I told you, I was born and raised Catholic, so I know my stories. But there is a story that for days the fishermen were going out and
Oh yeah,
they
the
couldn't catch fish.
disciples. Yes, yeah.
And all of a sudden, I don't know if Jesus was involved or not, but they went out and the fish started jumping on their boats.
Yeah, they had to cast the net over the other side of the boat or something. And then the fish started jumping in.
It's just energy.
Oh.
That's my take. Something changed in their energy, or they were energized by Jesus. I don't remember if Jesus was involved in the story. And then they started radiating a different energy and the fish were attracted to it. That's my take on the story.
Wow, that's really interesting. I'll have to find that script and put the link under the video. Um, but yeah, you might find a few fishermen calling you up and trying to
I'm
trying
not,
to get
I'm not going to do
that
that.
touch.
But it
Trying to
will be interesting because I am going to swim with dolphins in July. What will
oh,
happen then? That
yeah, oh my
we look
goodness.
forward
They'll be
to.
fighting over you, no doubt.
Yeah. So for
So
me, water is consciousness, Dawn. And you asked me what is God. It's in water. It's connecting with one another. I've read somewhere that water, when God spoke his words and they floated over the water or something. I think it's in Genesis. So water has always been very, very significant in religion. Um, yeah, so for me, water is consciousness. It's energy. It's a way to connect with. It's healing, and that's why they bless people in church. What they walk around, and that is the symbol of it.
yeah, so like for baptism or Christian, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any scientific research around the effect of water?
There's a lot. They have researched that, and that's called blue vitamin. That is why people are also attracted to water. They have researched that your blood pressure lowers, your heartbeat lowers, so people start genuinely feel more relaxed. The re-
Yeah.
the research doesn't tell us why So my take on that is because it remembers us on the time when we were back in our womb, and also because there's more ionization around water. There's more water in the air, more a
Mm,
higher density of water. So
absolutely.
yeah,
I certainly know that when you go for a walk by the seaside, for instance,
yeah,
it's totally relaxing, isn't it, really?
it is. Or when you dive in water or in the ocean, people come out and they feel so refreshed. But you know what happened? We have an energy field around us, and it's constantly sending out information, receiving information, but it is sending the information with all our past. And when we go in the water, that's all washed away. We come out of the water, we have a different energy field because the water's energy mingles with the water. Yeah, then we start talking to people, then we start doing things, then we start thinking our thoughts again, start being who we think we are again, and we are back, and the refreshing thing is gone.
Mm, yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Would you say that people close to you, family and friends, they also share in your water lifestyle and believe in the
Uh,
benefits?
nope, they don't believe in it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
my kids, one of my children, she is studying law. The other one is studying chemistry. So they're very brain people, and they're very very clever girls. So the girl with chemistry, she only looks at the chemist part of it. Uh,
Yeah.
but when I was that age, I didn't know as well.
Mm.
Um, I had to go through everything I've been through in life, and to go through everything that happens to get where I am now. I'm 60, so yeah, I've learned a lot.
Oh, wow. I'm looking nothing like it. Goodness, good
No,
for you.
hey, but that is because the water keeps me young. It
Mm.
revitalizes the body. I'm not dehydrated anymore, so my wrinkles disappeared.
Ah, very good point there. Right. Everyone's got to stock up on a few giant bottles of water, Lex.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's not drinking a few bottles of water.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. And you hold events around water therapy, so to speak. Tell me what you do at these events.
Um, First of all, I explain a lot about water so that water start to see water as something completely different than a drink, or something that waters the plants or nature, and something we need to survive, because that is how most people look at water. I teach them about the memory, about a lot of the things I've discussed now, but then more lengthy. I teach them about the consciousness. We do a water healing meditation so they connect with the water and with the water around them. I teach them the steps on how to fully connect with water. So that starts with drinking energized water, so the water in the body gets a different frequency. Then work on the undercurrent. That's how I call it. You have a wave when you're in the ocean and you're standing. The waves are pushing you towards the beach. And suppose the beach is a goal, is something you want to achieve. So the top part of the wave is pushing you towards it. But what happens then? It goes back again. So if you're standing in the water, you feel the top part of yourself, you feel that pushing towards the beach, but you feel your feet being pulled inside the ocean. So there's two forces at play, and they contradict, and that is what we do. We would like to have things in life. We pray for things, we set intentions for things. At that moment we are connected with it, and then our voice starts, then the people around us start, then things start showing up that weren't what we thought we wanted. But that is because we move one way and we move back, we move one way, we move back, we move one way, we move back energetically. So I teach people how to see their undercurrent. And it's in the way you speak, it's in the way you think, it's in the way you act, it's in many things. So I help them create awareness around that. And that's one of the biggest things. So that is coaching. And once you discover what your undercurrent is, I help them to release that so that it
Mm,
disappears from their body. So the frequency in the of the water changes. The energy becomes higher, the vibration becomes higher. And the higher it becomes, the more precise the signals you're sending out is. And then
mm,
it's a lot easier to create a life of your dreams and
mm,
get rid of all the drama in your life.
mm. Okay, that sounds really good. Okay, now in terms of looking at your whole life, I was wondering, do you have other interests, hobbies, other business interests as well
Well,
at the
speaking,
moment?
I love speaking. I love sharing my knowledge. And now that's around water. I love to go out for a meal. I love to dance. I still feel young, so I love to go to a club and just, dance and have fun. I'm single, so I like dating at the moment. I like that play. The thing is that, yeah, it's difficult. Stop. I'm now putting. This is my undercurrent that now wanted to start to speak. I have a belief that it's difficult to find a man that is living in this field of awareness, that is so aware that and that is what's showing up in my life. I don't meet those kind of men that are so aware and have so much self-reflection, don't get offended, are not proud. So yeah, I like dating because I don't want to be on my own. I love to be together with a man. I'm always traveling. I love to have someone to share that adventure together with me and to share and to make it a common thing. And
Mm.
that's not there. So yeah, I like dating because I know he's out there somewhere.
Oh,
Um,
well, that's a fun thing to
and
do.
I love traveling. I love not there. And there's one thing I love not having to know what's going to happen next week. I don't know. I don't know. I know I want to do some shopping this afternoon, but I also wanted to do that yesterday. And yesterday I realized, no, I don't want to, so I didn't.
Quite a free spirit, really, aren't you?
Yeah. But
I
that is
love
flow,
it.
Dawn. That is flow. That is how water is. Water is not making decisions. Water does not have a mind. We have a mind, and a lot of the time it's not serving us. The intellect is helping us, but the sabotaging things that the mind comes with, no, it's not helping us at all.
Yeah, I think you've hit a key word there, sabotage.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for your lessons on water. And I've got to let people know that you put on events around water. There is one coming up on July the 3rd in London, I believe.
Yeah, there's an event in London, indeed, on the 3rd of July, and that's where you'll experience what we now discuss. Because talking
Yes.
about it is one thing, but experiencing it in your body, that is when it all starts to, when you start to feel it, it starts to make more sense to the mind. Because,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah,
All right, well, I'll put a link to this under your video. So it'll be a link to your website and a link to your events.
yes.
And yeah,
I'll
it was good. It was good to learn from you today. Thank you.
Beautiful. I mean, and I love this conversation. And thank you so much for inviting me, Dawn. And I want to see you at my event.
Okay, all right. Well, I will work on that. But today I'm going to start by jumping into a bath right now.
Oh, yes, definitely. And connect, know that you have water inside your body, visualize the water in your body and see how the frequency is mingling with the water in your bath and talk to it. Talk to your water.
Wow, interesting. Okay, I will try that trick and I'll let you know how it goes.
Beautiful. Okay.
Thank you very much, Tineke. Thank you for your time. Thank you for teaching us what you do. And hopefully people will follow up, check out your website, and follow you on social media. You take care.
And I'm all over social media, so that's easy. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend.
Yeah, you too. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.